So I have to put the extroverted feeling, FE and fear, to the test right now to see how we'll play with this. So you walked up here wearing a tutu. which first of all is really cool, but we're recording this at the time of Halloween. This is the weekend before Halloween at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
So was that like, did you just like, yeah, screw it, I'm just going to go do this. Like, I'm not going to worry about the social condition of it. I trust Joel and Antonia. I'm just going to go up. Or were you like, did you hesitate for a moment to be like, what are people going to think if I walk up there in a weird outfit or something? How'd that show up for you?
Joel, I forgot until right this moment.
Welcome back to the Personality Hacker Podcast. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge.
So we're coming to you a recorded live episode here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We've already recorded one, but we've a studio audience here, an amazing studio audience joining us tonight. We're getting ready to go and hang out after this and connect with everybody. You know, do all the things that we all hate, small talk. We'll get real deep real quick in the lobby, in the lounge area. But before we do that, I thought we could do something creative and just see what a show would look like, asking you as a studio audience to come up to the microphone, tell us your name, your best fit type, give us the best nugget of advice, the best piece of advice for your personality type wiring.
Yeah, what have you figured out?
What have you figured out in your life that other people of your type could benefit from? All right, so who wants to come up first? Anybody? We got somebody behind me?
Do it.
Give them a hand, everyone. All right. What is your name?
All right. Hello. My name is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
And I'm an INFJ. That's my best fit type anyway. So I found one of the struggles that me and maybe other INFJs might experience is getting into like an NITI loop, this analysis paralysis, and maybe like lacking a little action in their life because, you know, there's too many ideas bouncing around all over the place.
Are you lacking action, Kevin?
Lacking a little bit of action, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm not trying to get it just through Marvel movies. So I decided that I would try to release some of the creative energy that I felt stirring up in me that wasn't getting expressed. I found that externalizing these thoughts somehow, like through journaling or through artistic processes. So really tapping into, I guess it would be like introverted feeling. It's attuning to your values and what emerges when you have that creative flow expressed externally. It really helped me to attune to like what's the passion, the drive, the fire inside of me that needs to be like the target on which all the other things are being revolving around.
So what have you chosen as your artistic expression?
My medium is writing generally, but I've been experimenting a lot with like pastels and paints are my favorites.
And what did it do for you?
It gave form to the function.
Yeah.
In short, like it gives it something manifest visually and something to interface with the world with.
All right. So as an INFJ, you would say, make sure you have some sort of expression. Something particularly artistic.
Otherwise, I think other people see your concepts as far too abstract and not relatable.
Oh, so it helps bring it concrete.
Yeah.
It puts some method to it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Give them a hand, everyone. All right. Who's got something? Oh, we got somebody over here. Fantastic. Give her a round of applause as she comes up. All right, we heard from you on the last episode.
Yes, I'm Lauren, and I identify as an INTJ.
Fantastic. So what's your best advice for INTJs?
The thing that I have discovered that is the most game-changing for me is to sweat.
Physically sweat?
Yes, like exercise, and it can't be subtle things. It can't be the soft martial arts like Tai Chi or yoga or breath work. I have realized that regular exercise where I get out of breath burns off so much of the mental energy that gets me in the analysis paralysis and the over planning. But I've also realized that getting into my body is the pathway to accessing other dimensions as well. And so not until I really got in the body through exercise and kind of embodied in the way that I move through my life, not until then was I able to access my emotional space and then eventually spiritual space as well. And so my recommendation to other INTJs is don't take it easy on yourself. Get some kind of intensive exercise. It's like swimming, running, something really where you exert.
Now, INTJs struggle with feeling they have enough energy. Did you find like this was an energy drain, or did you feel like it was generative?
Once it becomes a practice, it's generative in every way, mentally and physically. I had to do a lot of things to build the habit in the beginning. So I gave myself a menu of options of some activities that I actually enjoy. Like, don't pick something that you hate. I hate going to a gym. That's never going to be motivating for me. I love being outside in nature. So build in, design things that are in a context that you enjoy. And I give myself kind of a lower energy activity, a medium, and a high. So I have to show up. I have to kind of do the time, but I give myself a little bit of choice to scale that or to calibrate that depending on how I'm feeling for the day. But after a while, it became like I crave it, can't live without it, because I know it's the pathway to my best self.
So push yourself, sweat, but you don't have to like suffer. You don't have to be like, I have to do this in a context that I hate.
Exactly. And I highly recommend James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I think he's also an INTJ, and he talks a lot about how to on-ramp habits so that they're sustainable. And yeah.
Well, he also talks about the concept of compounding effects.
Yes.
Where you build these habits, they start to compound with each other over time.
So, you know, I said don't do something you hate, but also realize that you're not going to love it. You're not going to have the benefits until you let them compound over time, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great advice.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Give her a hand. Who's next? Who? You may not be first, but you will be next. Who is next? Who is here that would like to share? We heard from an INTJ and an INFJ. Is that right? The two INJs. Where are the IPs in the house? Do we have any IPs in the house that would want to come up and give some advice? Something you figured out in your life right here? All right. Give him a hand, everyone. He's coming up to share. And what is... I was going to say, what's your best fit name? What is your name? Sorry.
My name's Carmine, and I am an INTP. And one of the things that I learned is to really develop my SI by becoming disciplined and hiring a coach when I try to do that. So that way I don't put off my discipline. So by joining sports, I try not to do it alone, because then I'm going to procrastinate like most IPs do. And I find that like when I have a coach, he really instills the discipline into me, but also helps with like clearing up my thinking, because I like to put my thinking towards a lot of other things. So I don't have to think so much through the workouts that I do.
So what I hear you saying is a coach can help you. I mean, INTPs are notorious for taking in a lot of information, considering all the information. A coach helps you cut through to the things that are going to maybe get results, so you can see tangible results, so you don't have to go through all the information to start to execute on. Is that basically what you're trying to say?
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much, because otherwise I'll spend a lot of time just playing with information for no reason, when a coach could really just give me the information, and then I can spend my mental energy on things that I actually enjoy doing, because the discipline thing is really to be disciplined. It's not because I like doing what I'm doing, it's because I know it's necessary.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you. That's great
thank you,
advice,
Lauren.
honestly. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that.
Appreciate
Give him a
it.
hand.
Yeah.
Do we have any other IPs in the house, or EPs? Anybody want to come up and share? I saw you kind of, both of you right here, two EPs kind of leaning forward. Back here, no, you were. It looked like you were going to get out of your seat, and then you didn't. I'm just putting you on the spot. You can come up, Kara. Yeah, come on. We heard from you before. That's cool. Come on up. We heard from you on a different episode. But so your name again, just for somebody who's
Kara.
watching this. Okay. And what's your best fit type?
ENTP.
Okay. And what's the best advice that you
Yeah.
figured out for yourself that you'd love to share?
Yeah. So the little mnemonic that I carry around with myself is empathy before education, because my NETI can really like seek out patterns. And when people are talking about things, I'm just assuming that they want me to share all these ideas that start popping out of my head. And what I'm realizing is that sometimes people just want to be heard. And, you know, whatever it is that they're feeling and whatever it is that they're wanting to be known for is actually what's a lot more important than whatever brilliant solution happens to have popped in my mind that I just assume they want to hear.
Yes.
So not jumping straight into problem solving, but seeing them as a person first and allowing them to not necessarily want your solutions.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And then how do you do that? How do you refrain from
Helping them.
Yeah,
know
helping
it.
them
You
in
gotta know
solving
this.
your problem.
Yeah, you know, it's really energy management. I mean, it's getting familiar with that sensation that rises up in my body that, I mean, it almost can feel like this like leaning in tentacle, oh, let me get into your stuff kind of a thing. And to just kind of notice that that's there. And for me, like just even coming back to the breath is helpful, sort of grounding, like remembering that that's just an automatic energetic pattern that happens inside of me. And can I just sit and can I hold it? And can I just allow emergence, like sort of to see what's going to happen instead of thinking that I know what needs to be next.
So that feeling of almost like urgency, like you have to say this thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it. You have to say that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times I don't get to say it. And then I'm just like, oh, how was that? I survived. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe younger you would have still pushed it. You wouldn't have just received.
And even the
this-
current me sometimes
Okay.
does. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kara.
Yeah,
Appreciate
awesome.
that.
Thank you.
Give her a hand. I'll curate 3 more right back here. Come on up. Give her a hand. She's coming up. She's running. She's making it fast. Here she goes. She's going to leap into the seat. No, you're fine. What's your name?
Ari,
Where are you from, Ari?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina. And what is the best advice? Well, what best fit type are you?
ENFJ.
What's your best advice you've got?
I have so many things. The first thing I would say is slowing down and getting comfortable with being alone and finding something that allows you to let your mind just kind of run wild, which for me was finding your podcast a few years ago and going on walks with my dog or going to the gym and listening to that while my body is kind of distracted. But just being able to get comfortable with spending time with my thoughts and getting used to that and liking that. But also kind of attached to that, getting better at saying no and not feeling obligated to spread yourself so thin energy-wise, whether that's just, making plans with too many people because you feel like you have to, or if you don't, you're letting someone down, and recognizing that if you need time to just breathe and recalibrate yourself to do that, and if people are good friends, they will understand that and they'll be okay with that. They'll understand that. And I think this is pretty specific, but finding people who challenge you to be more direct and honest. I personally have found myself drawn to TPs in particular, who will not only allow me to share thoughts that I don't feel comfortable or brave enough to share with a lot of people out of fear of how they're going to interpret it, but also will challenge those thoughts and give me honest feedback in a way that I think it's hard for a lot of people to do, and being aware that just because you might not receive feedback that is always positive, people want to give you feedback to help you grow, so being willing to take the information that you've received from others and use that to recalibrate how you're making your decisions and make sure that you're checking in with yourself regularly, I guess, just to make sure that you're taking in all of the things you need to be taking in, but also trusting your own instinct, but finding people who you can practice being more honest and direct with rather than just extroverted feeling all over the place. Yeah.
So the first leverage point I heard you say is be willing to disappoint people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And discover through that process that people are usually not that disappointed.
Yeah. And if they are, most of the time I've realized they're not necessarily the people who are the ones that are going to stick around or need to stick around. Because if what I need to be healthy and do what's right for me is not something that they are accepting of, then I don't, I guess that's kind of another point, is being okay with and understanding that not everyone is going to be in your life forever. Not all relationships are meant to be maintained, which is really hard, I think. And I think as you get more comfortable with saying no to people and disappointing people, you'll start seeing pretty quickly, you'll start seeing the relationships that you thought were really important for a long time start to fade away. And that can be really, really hard to grapple with, because then you start to want to backtrack a little bit. But yes.
Yeah. And then the second thing I heard you say was spend time with people who will allow you to speak freely.
Yeah.
And will give you some pushback.
Yes.
And when you experience pushback from the people you're hanging out with,
which she came with 2 NTPs tonight.
I know.
I did.
When you experience that, and you said that you don't always feel comfortable expressing your opinions, what's the difference of expressing your opinion to somebody who's giving you that kind of pushback versus another kind of situation that has taught you not to express yourself? Like, why is that an okay situation?
I think in the times in the past where I didn't have people, or I thought maybe there were people I could try to be more honest with, and then I did so, and then received kind of just negative feedback, or not, people didn't want that, or they didn't challenge me at all. It either allowed me to keep doing things in a very uncalibrated fashion where I was, it was, detrimental to myself or to other people, that was not great. And so having people who push back and make me really take a harder look at the decisions I'm making and the judgment calls that, have you really thought about this? Like, or how are you not seeing that, that what you did here was obviously going to impact this person this way, and whether or not you knew that, like, are you taking that into consideration actually when you're making your decisions? But also just to make sure that, they push me. I think there are some times that I think I am being totally honest about something or about what I think. And then they're like, I'm pretty sure there's more there. Like, are you telling me everything? Like, are you telling me the whole truth? Like, what do you really think about this? So I think forcing me to really, really dig deep, because I think there are some times that I am under the impression I have gotten as deep as I can into what I'm really thinking about something, and then they've helped me dig and uncover even more. And I've learned a lot more about myself and my intentions.
So then what I surmised, and let me know if I've got this accurate, is find people who will let you speak your truth and then will workshop that thought belief with you, as opposed to people who you share your truth and they judge you for having shared it.
Yes.
Right.
100%. The workshopping of that is the part that is that's the gold. Because being able to talk through it and really try to problem solve it with another person, that's it. That's
awesome.
Something that I've really learned has helped me a lot.
Awesome. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you, Ari. Give her a hand. Can we get at least 2 more? Can I mine out 2 more over here? Come on up. Give them a hand. It's one of the... It's one of those NTPs I was talking about that came with Ari. What's your name?
My name is Darren.
And where are you from, Darren?
I'm from New York.
New York.
New York.
The city. Best fit type.
I'm an INTP.
And what would you say is the best growth advice or advice for your personality type that you've personally experienced that you could share?
Yeah, I think something that INTPs really struggle with is getting out of the house and just making and keeping relationships. It's a really lonely experience. And something that's really changed my life is picking one skill that is in front of people or has to do with organizing people and getting really good at it. And examples of this are like improv, public speaking, project management. These kind of force you into a place where you're surrounded by people, but you can focus on a specific skill and rely on that. And just knowing that you can have control in some kind of social setting gives you confidence in other areas of life.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is turn your introverted thinking or accuracy towards building competence in something that will allow you to socially interface. Right?
That's correct.
And build enough competence and capacity there where you rest into, like, you feel good about your competence, and now you feel competent about something that allows you to interface.
Yeah. You can't hope to be comfortable in every FE situation, but what TI is really good at is building really good competency. And so picking one slice of FE and getting really good at it, it's like this little thing in your back pocket that you can bring in and walk into a room and hold a secret for yourself.
And which one did you choose?
I started with acting, and that led to directing. And in college, instead of going to engineering school, I directed musicals the whole time.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And after that, it was team building, project management. I started in clubs. And after that, it was pitch competitions, pitching my company in front of and winning competitions to fund our company.
Yeah.
Did each one of them nerve-wracking when you first started?
Oh, absolutely. The first 50 or 60 pitches I did in front of people, I would stress for weeks. And it's a 3-minute pitch, but the whole day I'm shaking and I'm sweating. And then I get up there and I kind of black out and I do the pitch. And but after that 60th or 70th time, I'm so comfortable now in front of crowds.
Right.
And it feels natural. And I know that whatever goes wrong, I can handle it.
Yeah.
So 60 or 70 times, that's a lot.
It's a lot of times.
That's many dozen, but it sounds
That's a lot.
like if you can just get over the hurdle at one point, it just clicks.
That's correct. And what I'll say to INTPs out there is if you really put in the work and face that fear enough, life can be a lot more beautiful than you imagine.
So I have to put the extroverted feeling, FE and fear, to the test right now to see how we'll play with this. So you walked up here wearing a tutu. Which first of all is really cool, but we're recording this at the time of Halloween. This is the weekend before Halloween at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
So was that like did you just like, yeah, screw it, I'm just going to go do this? Like, I'm not going to worry about the social condition of it. I trust Joel and Antonia. I'm just going to go up. Or were you like, did you hesitate for a moment to be like, what are people going to think if I walk up there in a weird outfit or something? How'd that show up for you?
Joel, I forgot until right this moment.
Now you're like, can I just sit here? We close the cameras down and I'm going to quietly get up.
Can we edit out the tutu?
No, we can't, because now it's illustrative.
I was hoping you would say that. Well, for about the first 60 or 70 times I did a pitch in a tutu, it was really horrifying.
You get
but
really good at wearing tutus.
yeah, I'm totally a nerd to it at this point.
Yeah.
I wish that were the case.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that you came expressing how you wanted to express for
That's right.
Halloween. And I just want to draw attention to this. I'm sure someone's going to comments and be like, why is this guy wearing a tutu in your podcast? So to help your FE out, you don't get all that, feedback. I thought I'd at least draw attention to it now. Let's deal with it right now rather than later, right? Would you appreciate that, or would you rather me not said anything? How would you, this is a question, like as an INTP, honestly, would you have preferred that I just didn't bring it up at all?
You're throwing a lot at me right now, Joel.
Darren's like, I'm regretting all of my choices.
I'm regretting every choice.
Damn it, Joel.
No,
Why did I come up here and talk to you?
No, I appreciate it. It's I think INTPs, the secret is you got to be able to laugh at yourself, because we're silly people, and we know that we show up silly. And if you can embrace that, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
And people will accept you for embracing that, for being aware about this, like, really awkward, physically awkward, socially awkward side of us.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a great job.
So
obviously,
awesome.
you
thanks.
seem like you've got tons of social acumen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that you're right. A lot of people don't know just how like zany and playful and outgoing INTPs can be. Sometimes we only see the serious side of your type, like the because you get punished a lot. You bring yourself out and you get slapped down.
We get punished a lot.
Yeah, you go off your gifts and boom, get out of here. That kind of energy. So you learn to hold it back. But INTP that's open to that with the energy can can be very expressive, very fun, very playful.
Yeah, and there's a right time for it, and that's what you learn. Most of the time, I'm pretty quiet and reserved, but one or two times, if I see an opportunity, like my favorite thing is I'll say something, and then everyone just goes,
Yeah.
and it just like warms my soul that they know that I can speak English, you know?
Yeah. As a fellow NTP, though, there's the gasp, and it can go one of two ways, right?
Oh, yeah.
When the smiles are at the end of it, it's all awesome. When the horrified looks are at the end of it,
That's true.
you got to figure out how to navigate your way through that
I
space.
think that's more you than me, though.
That's probably facts, my friends. I bet that's probably totally true. Yeah. But thank you so much for being such a good sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
and
for
sharing
having
your
me.
wisdom. Cheers.
Appreciate it a lot, Darren. Give him a hand. Did you give him a hug just so he had to stand there in a tutu longer for the camera? Is that what you did? Yeah. Somebody back here behind me that I can't see wants to say something? Come on up. Just come on up. Make it. Welcome, welcome. Don't be afraid of the mic. What is your name?
I'm Kat.
And where are you from, Kat?
I'm currently living in Hartford, Connecticut, but I'm originally from California.
Great. We're glad you made the trip here to be with us. What's your best fit type?
INTJ.
Okay. What is the best advice that you've learned about being an INTJ? Maybe you could share with somebody else that's the same type.
So first I wanted to reiterate Lauren's advice earlier about exercising. I love running, so that's my favorite form of exercise. I do it all the time, and it definitely gives me energy. But personally, I've had challenges like meeting people and getting to know people. And so I imagine that there's probably other INTJs out there that also deal with this challenge. And so I recommend making friends with an extrovert who will help you meet people.
Get an extrovert to adopt you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you say.
Mhm. Yeah.
I hear outsource.
Yeah.
I hear outsource.
And has your extrovert put you in all sorts of situations that have been uncomfortable for you, or has it been a fun ride the whole time?
I'm trying to remember. We've been friends for a long time. I mean, she's my hiking buddy too when running, so we do a lot of activities like that. But I guess this one particular instance I'm thinking of was definitely uncomfortable. She invited me over to a party that she had been invited to. She was the only person I knew there. I didn't know anybody. I would just remember she came to give me a ride to the party, and the whole ride over, it was 10 minutes maybe. All I could think was why did I ever agree to this? This is gonna be awful. But it's actually been really great. I made 2 good friends, and then they introduced me to a third person who's now also a really good friend. So it ended up being really great for me, although the first, the party was really uncomfortable, I guess, or the lead up was.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you'd punked out and not gone? You'd miss all these friends you just made.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're real grateful that you just surrendered to that uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
And going there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I do want to make a note. You bring up something very important for INTJs. INTJs are so good at future pacing that they forget that one of their Achilles heels is future pacing how they're going to feel in a future experience. That's the one thing that because they trust that ability to foresee so much that when they project that they're going to feel a certain way, they don't know that that's a blind spot area. So I love that you had the experience of going, this is going to be terrible. And it totally wasn't. And I'm guessing you learned some stuff through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kat. Give her a hand. All right. Anyone else going once, going twice? Anyone else want to jump up here? I want to ask, actually, our art director and media producer, Christian, can you come from behind the camera? I just want to ask you a quick question. Give him a hand, everybody. So Christian, hey, welcome. So your name?
Christian,
just said it.
INTP.
INTP. Now Some people accuse you of being an ENTP because you're so bubbly and outgoing, and I'm taking you away from all your cameras and all your technical stuff, so I know I got to hurry here.
I'm good.
By the way, you're the guy that basically makes us look good and sound good and all the things that you
I'm
help.
the hamster inside of the cameras.
Running as furiously as you can.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I would like some sleep.
Okay. I'll let you off in a minute here as soon as we're done with this. So, by the way, just gratitude for you. I wanted to highlight you and just be really grateful for you because this live experience wouldn't be possible without your efforts being here. So I really appreciate you, Christian.
Oh, thank you very much.
But I know that you are also going through a huge growth period in your life, and you have talked about type. You've had your own podcast and things like that. And I thought you would be a great way to kind of maybe close us out tonight. Just give us advice, maybe from your perspective. It could be about INTP or maybe something more specific. You've been here watching us. I know you want to say some stuff. So what's some advice do you have? Or am I putting you too much on the spot?
I mean, the fact is that you're giving me like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
After I've been listening to you guys talk all day long.
Gotcha.
Right? I mean, I could route that to like INTP advice. And I think that's like to give your explanations somewhere to go. Like, if the habit is to take in.
As an INTP.
As an INTP.
Bring it in.
To either experience or research or whatever. Mostly just like to do research or listen to podcasts or listen to YouTube videos, to kind of passively take in a bunch of stuff. But at some point, like your battery gets charged and it's like any kind of battery that's charged, like you have to kind of use it or take it off the charger in a sense. And what I mean by use it is like, give those explanations that are starting to get organized in your head somewhere to go. And it doesn't have to be public. I mean, public would be great because then you can start exercising like some of the extroverted feeling of being expressive and being on camera and being accused of being an ENTP or, and get some practice doing that.
Sure.
You can start a podcast, you can start a YouTube channel, or you can start writing or whatever is your forte. Or you can just start talking in a notes app, instead of just going to your grandmother and saying like, I love type. Do you want to listen to me talk? Like, you don't even ask that. You just start talking about, so TI is this thing where like it's talking about principles and blah, blah, blah. And grandma's like asleep on the couch, on her plastic couch, which is a callback that you won't understand, but that's okay. So essentially, I think that's like getting to know the compulsion as an INTP to explain and give it somewhere to go, because otherwise it's just going to kind of, the battery is going to start spewing acid on everybody of like, infecting all of the thoughts that you have and opinions and whatever. And you're just going to try to give it to anybody. Instead, try to be intentional about it. Give it somewhere to go.
I think that's great advice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Give him a hand, everyone. I appreciate you. So what do you think? Do you have some good advice as you're watching or listening to this episode? Do you have good advice to offer from your perspective about your personality type? I think we'd like to hear from you. We would like to hear from you. Not I just think. I know I would like to hear from you. Come over to personalityhacker.com directly below this episode. You can leave a comment, ask a question. More importantly, share your story. Stories are a great way to share your experience in a compressed way that we can understand and relate to. And I think other people in the community can also relate to that. So again, come over and make your voice heard if you haven't been able to be here at this third microphone we have set up today.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, you can subscribe to us on iTunes and various Android platforms. If you leave a rating and review for us on iTunes, that really helps us out a lot. You may have been watching us on YouTube because we have a video podcast. So if you enjoy that format, you can like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon that lets you know that we have a new episode up. If you'd like to leave a comment on YouTube, you can do that as well. We have a book. It's called Personality Hacker. Did you see that? I almost did it just flawlessly. Almost. A little hesitation, but I'm almost there. We have a book. It's called Personality Hacker. You can get it at all major book retailers. And if you leave us a rating and review on Amazon or on Goodreads, that also helps us out a lot.
Yeah. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge.
I just want to really thank everybody for coming out from a lot of distances. We have people from all over the United States. I don't know if and Canada. We had somebody from Toronto come down too.
Right.
So we have people from all over. And if you're watching this or listening, we'd love to have you come and be part of a live podcast the next time we do it. Hopefully we'll do it in a city near you that's accessible. We'd love to do this all over the world if we can. But again, thanks to our wonderful studio audience for being here with us tonight. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge again.
Did we already say this?
We did.
See, I'm really out of my rhythm.
Yeah.
New audience. I gotta get this down.
Wrap it up.
We'll talk to you on the next Personality Hacker podcast.